Jimmy Kimmel's not some crazy person who would wish the president to be killed. He just would not do that.
Would I have said it? No, I wouldn't have said something like that about any president. But guess what? That's what happens at these roasts.
Jimmy's a comedian, and I would argue that Caroline Leavitt didn't mean shots should be fired, right? She was making a joke. Fair enough. So I look at that side and go, well, jokes are jokes, but the rhetoric, I think, is a little dangerous, and we've seen it a lot lately.
Okay, that's members of the media and actor George Clooney talking about ABC's Jimmy Kimmel and his vile joke about First Lady Melania Trump having the, quote, glow of an expected widow just days before the third assassination attempt on President Trump. For a reaction, let's welcome Media Research Center Vice President Dan Schneider. So what do you make of this? What if Jimmy Kimmel said that Michelle Obama, Benny Johnson and I were talking about this, Michelle Obama has the expectant glow of a widow. Hillary Clinton has the expectant glow of a widow. Jill Biden has the expectant glow of a widow. How would that go down?
Well, obviously, Disney would not permit such conversation to take place for those individuals. But Liz, this gets to the point. Disney is just about the largest, most lucrative welfare recipient on the planet. It is given massive value from the taxpayers, from the American people, to have these monopolies all over the country. But in exchange for these licenses, these monopolies, they have to serve the public interest. And so we've got an excellent FCC chairman who is going to try to make sure that the public is getting the benefit of the bargain. If we're giving Disney and all of its ABC broadcast affiliates this great value, we deserve value in return.
Now, what does Dan Schneider mean here by value in return? Well, Disney receives lots of government subsidies and other things like, for example, film tax credit, which play in part with getting tax dollars from us to Disney. So we are essentially helping, quote unquote, fund Disney via our tax dollars through these subsidies. But what does all this have to do with Jimmy Kimmel possibly getting canceled? Well, before we get into that, let's see how Jimmy defends himself.
A call to fire me from our First Lady, Melania Trump, saying I should be fired because of a joke I made, again, 5 nights ago. It was a pretend roast. I said, our First Lady, Melania, is here. Look at her, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow, which obviously was a joke about their age difference and the look of joy we see on her face every time they're together.
So if Melania Trump has a glow like an expected widow, yet Jimmy Kimmel here is saying that she's happy when they're together, it doesn't make sense because usually when people are happy that someone's going to die soon, they usually don't like them, so there wouldn't be that joy when they're together. Only when, well, they're on their deathbed, right? So his defense is really full of holes, in my opinion. Here, I really think he's just trying to backtrack to save face and to get out any potential trouble. Well, you really can't fire somebody for free speech, but you can lay down consequences. For example, ABC owns stations, these broadcast stations, where Jimmy Kimmel's show is aired. Now, these stations need to work and be in mind of the public's best interest, right? So you got to ask yourself, is making jokes about the president being assassinated or otherwise dying, is that something that's in the best interest? I mean, after all, you have both people who voted for Trump and didn't vote for Trump as viewers. And this could actually cause fear in people in light of all the assassination attempts on Trump, not to mention what happened with Charlie Kirk and even others with these protesters. You got to think of that as well in light of the context of what's happening here, not just the joke itself. But what do you guys think? Do you think Trump should lighten up on Kimmel? Or do you think Jimmy Kimmel should learn to read the room and the situation in the country and maybe go back to when comedians didn't rely on politics to tell jokes and be funny? Please let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.